let's talk Trek's literal underlying technobabble construct of subspace phenomena. On this edition of...
Yeah, it's the best five, worst five, know what I mean. Yeah, it's the best five, worst five Trek's ever seen.
One of Star Trek's made-up but ubiquitous ideas is of domains that exist alongside our own, and allow for faster-than-light communication and other crazy things as the writers needed something to work with. There are exactly 10 subspace phenomena, so we're going to do a top 10 format this week, starting with the worst first. Number 10. Off-screen subpar subspace. In Voyager's projections, where the Doctor is questioning whether or not he's a real boy, it's nonchalantly dropped by Chakotay at the end that a subspace anomaly caused a kinoplasmic radiation surge that caused the Doctor's program to malfunction. While the episode is reasonably entertaining, with no on-screen appearance, this one becomes de facto worst. Number 9. Not quite subspace. Yet again, the main plot of real life surrounds the Doctor. Meanwhile, Tom Paris fills the runtime in a transition or boundary layer between space and subspace, having been pulled in by an astral eddy. While not technically a subspace phenomenon, it's literally on the edge of it and rounds out a list of 10. Number 8. Think good thoughts. While the subspace rupture in If Wishes Were Horses is imagined, it's imagined from a real event that happened in the Hanoli system in the 23rd century, where the entire star system was destroyed and presumably had all its matter sucked into subspace. On the bright side, if this thing had destroyed the Bajoran system and the wormhole in Season 1, billions of lives wouldn't have been lost in the Dominion War. Number 7. Honey, I Shrunk the Runabout. In one of the best goofy yet fun episodes of Trek, Starfleet sends one of their only pure warships and its most experienced crew on a science mission during the height of the Dominion War. O'Brien, Dax, and Bashir enter a subspace compression phenomenon to see what happens to some of Starfleet's most decorated officers when they get smaller. This subspace anomaly is quite interesting, even if the plot makes absolutely no sense, and there seems to be no scientific consistency in how this compression anomaly is going to make them bigger if they go back into it. Number 6. Subspace Superfund Site. In the Hakaris corridor, a group of scientists attempt to prove that warp activity over time cumulatively adds up to a subspace rift that has the potential here to destroy the only inhabited world in the corridor. One of the scientists goes out as a martyr, detonating the warp core of her ship to prove her point. This is a really interesting analogy to pollution issues we face on Earth today. Unfortunately, the topic would never be brought up again, even though the only reason they designed Voyager's engines to lock into that 45-degree position while at warp was supposed to be lessening the environmental impact. Number 5. Subspace Battleground. One of the few truly interesting takeaways from Insurrection is knowledge that subspace weapons were banned by most Alpha Quadrant powers in the Khitomer Accords because of their unpredictable nature. That doesn't stop the Sona from launching an isolytic burst causing a subspace tear, to which the Enterprise E sacrifices its warp core to close. We see that thankfully the ejection systems that never once worked when ordered on a Galaxy-class ship have been redesigned for the better. Number 4. Sleepy Time Subspace Domain. When the crew of the D start to realize they're all having the same dream, and a mysterious anomaly appears in a cargo bay, Geordi lets us in on a little subspace theory for the first time in the franchise, describing subspace as a honeycomb with an infinite number of domains as cells. And in this episode, a group of aliens from a tertiary subspace manifold keep taking crew as they sleep. They didn't account for Riker's ingenuity, though. A lot of buzzwords for the tech manuals about this one. Number 3. The End of Subspace. Omega is the most powerful known substance in the Star Trek universe. In Starfleet's only attempt to make it, a single molecule destabilized subspace across an entire star system, which caused warp to be impossible and communication to be limited to light-speed methods. Species 10C later attempted to mine our galaxy to devastating effect to find the raw materials that make Omega to power their xenophobic ascendant race of one but many. It's a terrible responsibility of advanced civilizations to refrain from utilizing this ultimate power source. Number 2. Mysterious Subspace Place. I'm not sure how this slightly better than middle of the road episode that is Voyager's gravity keeps making these lists with some frequency. The micro-universe Tuvok and Paris get stuck in for months from their perspective is cataloged by Voyager as a subspace sinkhole that contains one small star system where matter only enters but doesn't leave. Thankfully, Voyager gets their people back before another race closes the sinkhole. The best subspace anomaly in Star Trek? Number 1. Subspace Survival Horror. Similar to the previous entry, Voyager is pulled into a closed structure enclosed in an inert layer of subspace. That's a lot of buzzwords. That for practical purposes means a space a few light years across, but naturally devoid of any matter except what gets pulled in. Janeway cobbles together a mini federation of ships stuck in the void to mutually work on escaping, which after a lot of work, they achieve. After being stuck in the Delta Quadrant for 7 years, this anomaly is a fresh hell that makes it look like dark days for our heroes. What's your favorite subspace phenomenon in Trek?